Hello, my lovely, wonderful subscribers. It is so good to finally do this video. I've literally been so excited and so pumped to do this video for you guys because it's really important to get high school advice, even if you're not a freshman starting out in high school. I just wanted to give you 31 pieces of advice that I personally went through, and I just want to share it with you guys because it's really important to get this in your head now so you can be prepared. It's not one of my strong suits, but besides that, I did not struggle academically at all. Other aspects of school. But anyways, so I wanted to share with you advice that will help you even if you're not a freshman, because it's just really important, because you go from middle school to high school and it's very intimidating and nerve-wracking, and you're just wondering how you can survive. Well, this is one of the reasons why I love my channel, because I want to spread positivity and kindness and support and a safe place for you guys to come and ask questions, or just to talk to me, because I've been starting to link down my main account for Instagram if you ever want to DM me. I believe my account is private, so I may have to go into my request or something. But without further ado, it's a video that you guys have been waiting for about 2 weeks, because I've been talking nonstop because I'm so excited. So y'all know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because I love you guys. And like I said, my goal after 70 subscribers, which we're one away, is 75. And I just believe that we can do it because we're a great family and a great team and with each other. Okay. So, just let me check something on my phone. And like I said, the other day, either yesterday or Wednesday, if you have any questions, if I'm not clear about something, go ahead and put it in the comments for this video. Or if you just have other questions that you personally want me to answer, then that's okay too. Just put them in the comment section and I will try to reply to all of them. Okay? So, the first piece of advice that I have is surround yourself with people who support you and are positive people, okay? So if you have a good group of friends, even if it's from middle school and a couple new ones that you get along the journey of high school, just make sure to surround yourself with positive people who also support you. They don't have to agree with what you do or your decisions, but if they support you and they genuinely mean it and they're positive people, those are the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with. The second piece of advice is how negative people can affect you. I've had plenty of this happen to me. Not at school, but just family-wise, and that could also relate to school as well, because if you have negative people in your life, they can just bring you down and make you feel less and just make you feel like you're not important. And you don't want that, because you want to stay happy and healthy and be successful and be the best you that you can possibly be, okay? So just don't surround yourself with negative people, because they will only bring you down and they won't help you in life. Advice number 3 is don't only focus on academics. Have a balance with friends and going out. So I believe I mentioned this 1 or 2 more times in my advice, but it's because it's a really big one for me. I struggled with it, okay? Because of my shyness and how I am and my experience with having friends, it hasn't always been the best. So when it came to high school, I just had my boyfriend and a couple other best friends, and sometimes they weaved in and out, and I just really didn't like that. And because of my past friendships that currently ended for dumb reasons, I just didn't have the energy to make new friends, because the terms that girls are bitches was programmed into my head, because I did have a few in the past that were just complete bitches. So just of course focus on academics and achieving and being successful, but also have the balance of going out with friends, and that also relates to number 1, which is the positive people, because you really need those. But just find the balance between school and friends, and don't do what I did and just isolate yourself, because that can lead to some problems, which I will talk about later on in this advice video. Number 4, don't fall into peer pressure, especially if you know it's wrong. I didn't go through this, but this is just a common piece of advice, because peer pressure can sometimes be way too much in high school, and it can be not what you asked for, and sometimes you will feel peer pressured to do things that aren't the right choice and that could possibly get you in trouble. So if you're being peer pressured, be the bigger person and think about the consequences before you do it to look cool for other people. Just look cool for yourself and be you, and just don't do that stuff, period. Number 5, don't isolate yourself. It can become very lonely. That is really true. I have struggled with this since my sophomore year of high school. I started to isolate myself because of the past experiences that I've had, and especially after the incident that I told you guys about in 9th grade where I almost got raped. I definitely isolated myself a lot, and I didn't really want to talk to people. I was really depressed, and in return, isolating myself not only made me depressed, but I also still cry myself to sleep sometimes, because now I'm in college. I don't have any friends. Sometimes I don't even know who my real friends are. And I just feel really, really lonely, So just don't isolate yourself. Even if you're shy, go out there, make some friends, start a simple conversation, and get it rolling, because isolating yourself will not benefit you in the long run, because I still cry myself to sleep sometimes because I don't have any friends, and it just gets very lonely. And for the past few months, I've been very desperate for friends, but at the same time, I'm just not feeling like making friends, but I'm going to have to get out of my bubble, okay? So that's all I have to say about piece of advice for number 5. Number 6. Oh, I just did that. I just explained how it made me depressed. Number 7, don't be afraid to speak up in class. That's always been a huge issue for me. I would feel so nervous and scared, so I would just walk up to the teacher after class and ask the question that I needed to ask, because I was afraid to look stupid or dumb or whatever in front of the class. But you never know. Maybe 1 or 2 other people are wondering the same exact thing that you are, but they're not speaking up because they are also scared of being laughed at or made fun of. So you never know if other people have the same question. So don't be afraid to speak up in class. I know it can be really intimidating, but just do it, because you never know if other people are feeling the same way and have the same question. Number 8, don't be afraid of what others think of you. Just be yourself, okay? I mean, there's not really much to explain there. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just be yourself, and just don't give a fudge nugget about what people think, because what you think about yourself is the most important thing, okay? So don't worry about what other people think, because it'll be irrelevant in the future. Number 9, focus on your happiness, mental and emotional health first. I cannot emphasize that enough, okay? Because of my current family situation and a few other aspects of my life, I have been a people pleaser and kind of attending to other people's needs first before mine. And it can cause you to be very drained emotionally and mentally, and kind of physically too, especially if you need to start exercising and stuff like that. You're just not going to want to feel like it, because you're just so not in the mood and down and all that other stuff. So just focus on yourself and your mental and emotional health and your happiness, because if you focus on that first before putting other people before yourself, you will be better in the long run, and you won't be struggling to make that balance. You need to focus on yourself before you can butt kiss other people, which doesn't help you in the long run, okay? That's all I have to say about that. Piece of advice number 10 is, if you're damaged, heal first and confide in someone you trust before you help others. Within the past 3 months, I have realized that I am very damaged in every single aspect in my mind and in my soul. And that has caused me to, when I try to help people, I help them in the best way that I can, but then I start talking about how I feel and what's been affecting me, and I kind of just drag it in along with the conversation, which isn't a really good thing because, that person is asking you for advice and coming to you for help. And if you can't fully help them because you're still damaged yourself, you're not benefiting them. You're only benefiting yourself, which is being selfish, if that makes sense. And sometimes you can feel really bad about that because, number one, you're not healed from whatever damage is going on within yourself, but also because, your friend really wants you to be there and you can't really help because you're so damaged and you need to heal, okay? So make sure you heal yourself first. Talk to somebody you trust, get advice, get it all out, and then you will be better off to help other people who genuinely need your help the most, okay? That's all I have to say about that, because if you just focus on that and heal yourself, you won't feel compelled after 10 minutes to talk about your issues. Once you're fully healed, you can focus on the friend or the family member that truly needs your advice and help, okay? That's all I gotta say about that. Piece of advice number 11 is learn to love and accept yourself. This goes for whether you are, just a person that is struggling for a multitude of reasons to love and accept yourself, whether it's because you think you're not smart or you're not pretty or your sexuality or this, that, and the other. Learn to accept yourself and be happy with who you are. I can personally speak from experience because, as you all know, I am bi and I have also isolated myself in this, that, and the other. So it can become very hard to love and accept yourself for who you are if you are struggling with things. The first thing you need to come to terms with is accepting some of the good and the bad things that make you you. Like, if you overthink, or your sexuality, or, test grades or something like that, like, learn to accept the fact that you have to work a little bit harder than others to get good grades, or surround yourself by LGBTQ people, or go to pride parades to accept your sexuality, stuff like that. And once you can accept the smaller things that lead to bigger things, you in return can learn to love yourself, and you will feel much better about yourself. Because if you love and accept yourself for who you are, you will not be ashamed or scared or anything else to just be yourself. Because being yourself is really important. Number 12, join clubs and teams if you feel lonely. Especially if you're a freshman and, you transfer to a new school or something and you just want to make friends. Eventually, once you get situated into the new school year, join a club or a sports team and try to make new friends over time and just see how it goes. I mean, if you've been like me and you're scared about making friends or you've isolated yourself, just try baby steps to work yourself into making new friends. Piece of advice number 13, dual enroll if possible because you'll regret it. If you don't know what that is, basically, if you're in high school, you go to a college, you dual enroll in some courses. That way you can get education that's free and you don't have to pay for it. I personally speak from experience, but I also kind of didn't have the time to dual enroll that much. I only could do one class because up until my 12th grade year, I was booked 24/7, 365 days a year, including the summers with academics. I would be taking classes online and I would be so heavily drawn in academics. So I suggest if you can dual enroll, do it. So that way it's less education that you have to pay for in the future. Oh, I need some water, guys. This is a lot. "13, apply for as many scholarships as you can." That's all I have to say for that one because number 18 goes back to 13. So for 13, just apply for as many scholarships as you can because it's a good thing. 14, just know where your classes are located and know your schedule. If, just make sure you go over in your head and at school if you have some free time at lunch, just go over your schedule, walk around to a few of your classes, and just familiarize yourself with where your classes are located, and you will be confident in not being late to class. 15, my bad. Always make sure to get proper sleep and find a balance if you have a job. So sleep is very, very important, especially in high school when you have to wake up super early in the morning. For me, what helped in high school was setting a bunch of alarms and making a list of things to do and when to complete it. And I still follow that in college as well. So for example, if you get home at 3 o'clock, right? Maybe take like a 45-minute break, detox from school, wash your face, have a snack, chill, go on Instagram or watch an episode of your TV show. Then after you have that 45-minute break, set maybe 4 alarms. Do the first 10 problems of math, do a section of notes for early child development, and spend 25 minutes studying for your math test that's in 5 days or something like that. Just have step by steps. Make alarms. That way, when you're done with one thing, you can go to the next thing. And if you don't really like the alarms, you can make a list and say, at this time, I will do this. I will stop at this time and start my next section of homework. Stuff like that. Just that way, if you have a set schedule, you can probably have a set time for when you can go to bed. So, for example, from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you're working on school and all that and making sure everything is out of the way. Then you take a shower. And then by 11 o'clock, or maybe even 11:30 the latest, if you're a little bit backed up, you can go to sleep and get some proper rest before you have to wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So just try to have a schedule of things to do for school before you go to bed. That way when it's bedtime, you can actually go to bed early enough so that way you can get some proper sleep before school the next day. I hope that made sense because I was trying to explain that. Number 16. One test grade doesn't determine who you are. Just because you fail a test or you flunk a couple tests, that doesn't mean that you're stupid or not smart. It just means that you probably didn't understand the material, which also doesn't mean that you're dumb. You just have to, work a little bit harder to succeed, or maybe retake that test if you understand it a little bit more, Just don't have a test grade determine your self-worth in school. Piece of advice of 17 relates to 16. For me, back in elementary school, it was the FCAT, and the FCAT made me feel really stupid and very low about myself because all my friends would be acing the FCAT and I would just be getting 1s and 2s, like barely even passing, So I would feel really down about myself and like I was dumb. What the heck? And, I would just feel really bad about myself because I just felt like the test determined my smartness, which isn't true. Some people don't test well, and I'm one of those people for the big, giant tests. I just don't test well when it comes to those tests at all. Not only do I freak out and stuff like that, but I also don't remember certain things as well. Like I will remember it for the testing class. When it comes to like a giant test, it's intimidating for me. So, some people aren't just good test takers. So you might just have to accept that about yourself. Whew, getting out of breath here, y'all. Okay, 18. Don't give up. This goes for everything. Don't give up on class and don't give up on scholarships especially. I made that rookie mistake in high school because I took the ACT and the SAT and I was like 5 to 10 points away in certain factors and I didn't pass. And all my high school life, I was building and working towards bright futures. And once those tests confirmed that I couldn't get it, I was very down. I gave up on applying for scholarships. I didn't even want to until about the end of March. And I got about 2 scholarships, which I'm grateful for. But when I was sitting in the awards night ceremony when I was a senior, not only did I feel lonely because I didn't have any friends, but I was also very depressed and crying the entire time because all these other people had like $30,000, $10,000, or even just like $3,000. And I'm just like, wow, I made the rookie mistake of giving up and not helping my mom with college because scholarships are just really important, and I was just crying the entire time because I knew that I let my mom down, but she understood why at the same time, So, piece of advice is just don't give up. Even if you don't pass those big tests, apply for the other little scholarships that you can get, or study even harder to pass a test, something like that. Just don't give up. Okay, piece of advice number 19. Don't overload in extracurriculars because of colleges. You need to breathe and focus on school and balancing friends too. It's okay to have 1 or 2 extracurricular activities as long as you're not drowning yourself, because you also have school to focus on and also balancing your friends to have some fun in there as well. So, just because colleges look for all the big fancy stuff and the big scores on the biggest tests that you need to take and all the extracurricular activities, as long as you have 1 or 2 balanced in there that you can actually do with your academics, then you're better off. Don't let college pressure you into doing so much that you're going to be drowning in school, and that will not be good. So just do what you can and focus on school at the same time. You don't need to be doing a whole bunch of stuff just because of colleges. You will be accepted to other colleges who appreciate your high school resume as it is. And for the other colleges that don't, you're better off, because that's all I gotta say about that. Just don't stress about it, Don't stress about that stuff, man. In the long run, it's not really gonna matter. Oh my gosh. We have 11 more to go, guys. My voice is getting so tired. Advice number 20. Sorry. Take a class or 2 over the summer so you're not bored, and knock another credit out of the way because it's very beneficial. For me, I literally drowned myself in academics, which means I didn't really have time for anything. But, at least take 1 over the summer. That way it's like 1 other course that's out of the way that you don't have to take in the following year. You know what I'm saying? So 1 or 2 classes over the summer isn't a bad idea if you just, don't want a very intense schedule in the future or something. I mean, it's beneficial to at least take 1. That way that 1 class is out of the way and you don't have to worry about it. 21 relates to 20. So, by the time I was in 12th grade, I only had 3 core classes and the rest were just electives, because the summer before 9th grade and the summer before my 12th grade year, I was heavily in academics and I was pushing myself, because when it came to my senior year, I did not want to have to stress about so many classes and so many exams. Like, even my mom, she was like, yo, you need to chill. And I'm like, I just want to get this over with. I'm sick and tired of school. I'm just going to bust my ass and get this over with, because when I'm in 12th grade, I just want to focus on trying to pass the bigger exams so I can get scholarships and colleges and this, that, and the other and all that stuff. So, I just only wanted 1 thing to focus on instead of 16 different things. You know what I'm talking about? So, at the same time, you want to take 1 class over the summer just to knock it out of the way, but just don't over drown yourself, because then you'll be like me and you won't have time for anything. You have to have a balance, which I did not have at all. Advice number 22. Sorry, I have an itch. Advice number 22 is never compare yourself to others. because you are perfect the way you are, and you don't need to be anybody else but yourself. Boom. Shuck. I know, I'm just weird, but we can accept that, right? Okay, so advice number 23. When teachers give you advice on work, take it. Like if they give you a huge hint, like if you do this, it'll probably be really good for whatever assignment. Like for example, if your teacher says, if you do research on this and talk about it, it might help you in the long run. You know, something like that. Like if they give you a huge hint, take it and do it so you can succeed, okay? Don't be one of those people that just brushes it off and be like, oh, this teacher doesn't know what he or she is talking about, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do it my way. Make sure to take their advice about the assignment because they're trying to help you. Okay? Okay. Piece of advice number 24. Make sure you know a couple people in each class for a study partner or to ask questions. It'll be beneficial. I found out a little bit later in my junior year of high school that studying with people and making flashcards and stuff like that really helped me with doing better on tests. Like for some reason, studying with a partner just helped me a lot. Like I can't explain it. Like it was just one of those methods that worked for me, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool, you know? 24. Don't cram for an exam the night before. Study for at least a week beforehand to refresh your memory. Studying the night before will not be in the least because you'll be studying for 4 hours trying to cram in so much information into your brain that by the time it's the next day, you probably won't even remember half of what you studied the night before. So at least study a week to a week and a half before just to refresh your memory and get that knowledge in there. That way when it comes to the test, you're not freaking out and trying to cram the day before because that's just not a good idea, period. I mean, at least a week to refresh your memory on some of the topics, especially the ones that you're not sure about, okay? Use common sense when it comes to studying. This goes back to 23. Find a study method that works for you. So for me, it's making flashcards, writing things over and over again, and having a study partner, and making sure to take breaks in between studying and stuff like that. Just find a study method that helps for you, whether it's Quizlet and you write down some simple notes from Quizlet, or you make flashcards, or you have a study buddy, or you do Cornell notes if that works for you. Just find a method that works and do it. That's all I gotta say, because if you find that one method that truly works and you realize that it works once you start doing better on tests, do it. Number 26, make sure to stay organized. Never have a messy folder or a messy backpack or a messy room that has your school stuff everywhere. Make sure to stay organized, like have a folder or a binder for this class, have a notebook for that class, have like some type of daily planner so you can stay organized and know what you need to do and your due dates. And don't have unnecessary things in your backpack either because that's being unorganized. Only keep school stuff in your backpack and make sure your school stuff is organized and not all over the place in your backpack. I kind of struggled with that 5 times, but then I got my crap together and I organized it once it started getting messy and throwing away papers that were irrelevant. And so just stay organized when it comes to school. 27. Don't change who you are to impress others. Pretty self-explanatory. Just don't change yourself because who you are right now and in the future will always be you, and that's all that really matters. That made no sense, but don't change yourself for other people because it's not worth it in the long run. Piece of advice number 28. Holy moly, we're almost done, guys. Don't let one bad day ruin your week. You are doing great and it'll get better. If you have a bad day where people are just being mean to you and you failed 2 tests and one of your friends got into a fight over something stupid, don't let that one day ruin your week. You know what I'm saying? Like, let some of that stuff go. Fix the issue. Talk to your friend about whatever the problem is in a calm manner. Study a little bit better if you didn't study right the first time, or do something that'll make you understand the topic a lot more so you can do better next time. You know, don't just let one bad day ruin your entire week. Fix the issues and let it go. That's all I gotta say. Number 29, never ever slack off or procrastinate. I'm telling you right now, that is not a good idea, okay? You'll just be drowning in work and trying to figure out time to complete stuff, and then it'll be late, and then you might get late points off. And you might also be rushing to get it done, so then it also will lower your grade anyway because it could be sloppy or incorrect. So in the long run, don't slack off and don't procrastinate, because in the end, you might not end up doing as well either way. You know what I'm saying? So, there. Piece of advice number 30. Not everyone will be nice to you, and that's okay. Just move on, because high school is just a phase. Shrug off those mean girls. Shrug off them bitches. Shrug off every single piece of negativity, because it's not going to matter, because high school is literally just a 4-year phase that won't even matter in the long run. And that leads us to the last piece of advice, number 31, which is high school is not relevant once you leave. The hierarchy, the mean girls, the bullies, the different groups, the geeks, the nerds, the cool people, the not so pretty people, the really attractive people, the sporty people, the girly people, the this, that, and the other. High school, when it's over, once you graduate, it will be irrelevant. I'm telling you. All the hierarchy and all the different groups of people and the mean girls and trying to fit in and all this, that, and the other, it will not matter once you graduate and once you leave. Because then, after that, you are officially entering into adulthood, and college is much, much different than high school. There's no hierarchy, there's no groups, no mean girls, no people judging you. People just don't care. They are there to get an education. They are there to just be themselves and not care what other people think, okay? So once you graduate high school will be irrelevant. Everything that happened in high school will not happen in college, because you are entering adulthood. And a lot of people have grown balls and have grown up, and all the high school drama is gone. It's gone, okay? So, number 31, high school is not relevant once you leave. Because once you graduate, all the high school drama and everything will just go away, because you are entering into adulthood and planning for your career and focusing on your career and being successful. So, with all that being said, all 31 pieces of advice, I really hope I helped you guys with high school advice, whether you're a freshman in high school or further up in high school. I hoped my advice that I personally went through, and a few that I didn't, but I thought was good advice, I just really hope that it helped, because I wish I had somebody give me at least a few tips about high school before I entered, because I definitely made some errors along the way, and I just hope I touched your hearts and reached into your noggin, and I hope I made you more confident about school. And comment down below if you thought my advice really helped, and if you agreed with it, or even if you have a question that I can answer in the next video, whatever video that will be. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing after this video. Maybe a day in the life if my phone won't be a pain in the butt. But just thank you for listening, and thank you for at least hearing my advice, because, you know, it's really important to get somebody else's insight on big things like this. So, anyways, all my lovely supporters, y'all know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content from Katie. And if you have any video ideas, make sure to drop them below as well, because I will do it, because I love you guys. Bye! Okay, peace.